In this module, we will go over skills related to keeping your job. In this module, we will go over the first day and days on the job, good job habits, time management, calling off sick, calling in late, and requesting time off. Job habits to keep you employed. Working for someone else implies a contract between you and your employer. You provide skills and abilities, and your employer provides pay. This is called a labor exchange. Remember that you got this job by promoting yourself as a productive worker. You have agreed to use your skills, your ability to learn, and your willingness to help your current employer succeed. You will be evaluated as an employee while you are working. The following information can help you stay gainfully employed. Be prepared to work. You were hired because the employer felt you had the skills and abilities needed to get the job done. You will now need to prove to your employer that he or she made the right choice in hiring you. It is important to start a new job with a good attitude and with thorough preparation. One way to prepare for a new job is to list any issues or problems you have that may affect your employment. Then list the solution to the issues or problem. Click on the following 3 tabs. Develop good work habits, be on time, keep your employer informed. Keep your employer informed. If you will be late or miss work, call your employer. Every workplace has people just like you. Employers will understand if you are sick or you need to arrange emergency care for any child or adult in your care. They will not be as understanding if you fail to let them know why you did not show up for work or if you do not tell the truth about your absence. Be on time. The first thing that an employer sees about you is when you arrive at work. It is important to arrive at work when the employer has scheduled you to begin the work day. Your coworkers also rely on you to show up to work on time whenever you are scheduled. Develop good work habits. The first thing that employers will look at are your job habits. Before they can assess your actual job skills, they will see how you fit into the organization. Here are some key habits to keep in mind.
Hey Cece, how's it going?
Hey Rob, I'm doing okay, I guess. I'm just a little worried that I won't be able to keep my new job.
Why do you think that, Cece? You're such a hard worker. I think any employer would be glad to have you as their employee.
Well, I'm just worried because I want to make sure I show my boss why I was hired.
Working for someone implies a contract between you and your employer. You provide skills and they provide the pay. Remember, you got this job by promoting yourself as a productive worker. You will be continuously evaluated on your performance, so make sure you prove that you are capable of everything you mentioned in the interview.
How can I prove myself?
You need to show the employer they made the right choice by hiring you. You also want to make sure you demonstrate good job habits from the beginning.
What do you mean by good job habits, Rob?
It's a way for employers to see how you fit into the organization. You want to make sure you are on time. This is the first thing the employer sees about you. Your coworkers also rely on you to show up on time, especially if they cannot leave until you show up. If you are going to be late or miss work, make sure you keep your employer informed. Employers will usually understand that you have an emergency, but are not as forgiving if you fail to communicate. You also want to make sure you provide a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. Make sure you are working diligently and showing productivity, especially if your pay is based off sales or performance.
I really want to prove that I'm a good worker. What else should I do to show good work habits?
You want to make sure you dress appropriately for the job. If others are wearing suits and ties, make sure you are dressing the same. You also need to work safely, always. But most importantly, the first several weeks on the job. Employers will become concerned if you get injured soon after starting work.
You mentioned the importance of showing up on time and calling in. But what if I need to request time off?
You need to find out your employer's specific policy and make sure you follow it. Employers will appreciate it if you make prior arrangements with them so they can cover your shift. If you have children, make sure child care arrangements are in place before you accept the job. It's important to try your best to arrange child care when they are ill, so you don't miss work. You also want to be aware of your break times so you do not abuse your breaks. Always make sure you know when you should return back in your area.
What if I don't understand certain rules?
Reread your employee handbook, written policies, and procedural manuals. If you still don't understand something, ask your employer. This is expected of new employees. Employers would rather spend a little more time training you than to spend a lot of time correcting errors.
What should I do when my coworkers want to be friends? Hang out after hours and talk about how bad their job is. I want to fit in and be liked, but I don't want to jeopardize my job.
Stay away from problem employees. It's okay to be friendly with employees, but you don't want to be around those who talk negatively about their job and constantly break the rules. Be friendly, but do not socialize with them more than you have to. Do not engage in any illegal activity like drugs or bringing weapons to the job site. Do not ever drink alcohol while on the job either, as all of these things can become very dangerous to your safety and the safety of others.
I am just very nervous and I want this to work out. This is my dream job.
I know, Cece. Just be yourself and they will see how good of an employee you are once you show them what you're made of. Just be natural, friendly, and show respect to your coworkers and supervisors. Show confidence in the way you present yourself and don't forget to smile. Try your best to take on additional responsibilities when asked and volunteer for tasks that allow you to learn something new. This will show your employer how eager you are.
I understand I need to show all these work habits, but what if I don't have a good relationship with my coworkers and supervisors? I know that this is equally important because we need to work as a team.
Your boss is one of the most important people at your work site. This person will help you learn your job duties and evaluate how well you do them. Keep a positive attitude towards your supervisor. Treat them well and they should treat you well. You're right about teamwork, Cece. Very few people work entirely alone. No matter what kind of work you do, you generally have to interact with other people, whether they are co-workers or customers. Remember to treat these people with the same respect and positive attitude that you would like people to show you.
How can I improve myself if I feel like I'm sitting idle in the same position for too long? I want to learn and grow with this company and show that I'm capable of a lot more.
Keep your career goals in mind. Find out the skills needed for other positions at your place of business. If you don't currently have those skills, look for opportunities to pursue to help you learn what you need for higher level positions. Attend all trainings offered, even if they are optional.
What else can help me to improve?
Always demonstrate a positive attitude. The way you approach your work and your coworkers can affect how you feel about your work and yourself. If you have a good experience, you will feel good. If you have a bad experience, you'll feel bad. Just be satisfied with yourself and your performance, and that attitude will be what people feel and reflect back to you.
How do I make sure I'm respected at work?
Make sure you're treating everyone with respect as well. You have to earn respect from others. You can do this by giving others credit where credit is due. Do not take credit for another employee's work. If you make a mistake, admit it. Don't invade others' personal space either.
Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me, Rob. I will keep these tips in mind. I feel really confident now that I was able to talk to you.
No problem, Cece. Here are just a few more things to keep in mind. Make sure you are always paying attention to instructions and ask questions if need be. Use your resources wisely. Resources include other workers, time, equipment, supplies, and energy. Lastly, know yourself. Assess your strengths and weaknesses. Ask for additional training and make sure you communicate your needs with your boss.
Please click on the notes to your right to learn more about establishing good job habits. Work diligently. Make sure you provide a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. Conduct your personal business on your breaks and outside of work. Do Do not use work phones or computers for personal reasons. Work safely. Keep safety in mind when you are working. Develop habits on the job that will avoid accidents for you and for fellow workers. Schedule time off. Arrange time off with your employers if it will be necessary to be away from work for an appointment or vacation days. Employers appreciate advance notice because they can schedule someone else to cover your duties. Employers will not be happy to find out that you knew before your absence that you had to be away from work. Find out what your employer's policies are about time away from work. Wear the proper clothing. Find out what kinds of clothes are acceptable at your work. Most employers want your clothes to be appropriate for the job and to be clean. What you wear should not impair your ability to carry out your job or interfere with your safety. Some workplaces require formal office wear, for example, suits, ties, and dresses. Some employers will provide uniforms. Some employers will be more informal. Before you wear jeans and t-shirts to work, observe what people wear during your first week of work. This could be a good question to ask potential employers at your interview. Don't abuse your breaks. Your employer offers breaks and lunch times for you and your coworkers. Find out how many breaks are offered, how long they are, and when you should be back at your work area. Please click on the buttons below to learn more about establishing good job habits. Ask questions. If you do not understand something, ask for a better explanation. Employers expect new employees to ask for instructions and demonstrations. Employers would rather spend a little more time to train you than to spend a lot of time to correct errors. Find out about workplace rules. Many employers have formal employment rules. These rules are often presented in employee handbooks, written policies, and procedural manuals. Get copies when you first start working and learn the rules. Leave weapons at home. Most employers assume weapons at work will be used offensively against coworkers. Some employers may fire people for carrying weapons. Just the fact that you carry weapons can be used against you. Do not use alcohol and drugs at work. You can focus on your job duties and do them well. Your health will be better. You will not have to worry about getting caught and having a criminal record. A criminal record can eliminate you for consideration in many jobs. In addition, your employer's good name will be protected and your employer will not be legally liable for your disregard of the law. Stay away from problem employees. Some people tend to be negative about their jobs. Others may do things against the rules, waste time, or in other ways are not good workers. Spending time with these people will affect your performance. Your coworkers and supervisors may begin to see you as a problem. Be friendly, but do not socialize with people like this more than is necessary. Please click on the titles to the right to learn more about managing your responsibilities. Manage children and other family members. Although children or other family members may be the most important part of your life, they are not the concern of your employer. Make sure that child care arrangements are in place prior to accepting a job. If your children are in school, arrange child care so you do not miss work when they are ill. Be yourself. Be natural, friendly, and show respect to your coworkers and supervisors. Show confidence in the way you present yourself, and don't forget to smile. Be willing to take additional responsibilities. Try your best to do something extra when you are asked. Volunteer for tasks that allow you to learn something new. Dealing with your supervisor. All employers want their employees to succeed. Your boss or supervisor is one of the most important people at your work site. This person will help you learn your job duties and evaluate how well you do them. In general, supervisors want you to do well. Keep a positive attitude towards your supervisor. Think of your supervisor as a direct link to your employer and as your coach. This person is a resource for you. Treat them well, and they should treat you well. Click on the menu to find out more about developing good job habits. Dealing with coworkers. Very few people work entirely alone. No matter what kind of work you do, you generally have to interact with other people, whether they are coworkers or customers. Remember to treat these people with the respect and good attitudes you would like people to show to you. Cooperation and courtesy are very good ways to get your job done well. Improving yourself. Your output at work depends on your skills and ability. Like many things in life, your job will depend on what you put into it. Generally, your satisfaction and that of your supervisor depends on the quality of work you do. Keep your job interesting by improving your current skills and by learning new skills. Keep your career goals in mind. Find out the skills needed for other jobs at your place of business. You may have those skills and can apply for those jobs. If you do not currently hold those skills, pursuing any opportunity that can help you develop them. This includes training provided either at school or at work. Attitude. The way you approach your work and your coworkers can affect how you feel about your work and yourself. A positive attitude can make your work more enjoyable. Pleasant people generally make other people feel good. Think about a good experience you had at the bank, the movies, or the post office. If the server approached you with a positive attitude, you felt that you would receive good service. The service listened to you and you had a successful transaction. When you walked away, you felt satisfied. Bad experience. Now think about a bad experience you had. If the customer representative was rude or ignored you, you felt defensive and angry. The server could feel your hostility and got angrier himself or herself. If you had any kind of problem to resolve, the server probably exhibited hostility towards you, even though he or she started it. When you walked away, even if you got the results you desired, you probably were still angry. Just as you feel angry and hostility from other people, you can feel it from you. If you feel that someone is approaching you with anger or hostility, you feel defensive. Your relationships with this customer, coworker, and supervisor will be easier if you approach them positively. You do not have to paste on a fake smile to get your job done. Just be satisfied with yourself and with your job performance, and that attitude will be what people feel and reflect back to you. Respect. Treat other people just like you want them to treat you. This respect for others and their feelings will reflect back to you. Remember that you have to earn respect from others. It is not automatically given. When you are working, make sure that good ideas are credited to the people who created them. If you make a mistake, admit it. Use that mistake as a learning experience and your job skills will improve. When you are at work, you should use language that would be acceptable by your mother, by your clergy, and by your favorite teacher. Make sure you observe other people's personal space and ask before you use any of their things. Unless issued as a tool to carry out your job duties, weapons are never welcomed at a legitimate workplace. Pay attention. Listen to what your supervisors ask of you. If you do not understand what is requested, ask for clearer instructions. While your supervisor may be managing the job as a whole, you are responsible for your own performance. Make sure you know what is required of you before you leap into action. Think about all the tasks that you have to get done and assign priorities based on the resources and abilities of your employer, your supervisor, your coworkers, and yourself. Resources include other workers' time, equipment, supplies, and energy. Sometimes working with other people can help you get your task done faster and with less effort. Sometimes you can finish the task more quickly by yourself. Learn to know the difference and be able to ask for help when it is needed. Know yourself. Assess your strengths and weaknesses. What can you do easily and correctly? What takes more time? Determine if training can help. Training can be formal, offered by a school or the employer's training department, or it can be informal, when you learn from your supervisor or fellow worker. Let your supervisor know if a task requires activities that you need more time to learn. This way, the time schedule can be adjusted or training can be arranged. Time management at work is critical to a person's long-term career success. Time management and work performance go hand in hand because time is certainly a finite resource that one can't buy more of, as much as people would like to. Some careers are simply known for being high stress and requiring employees to work long hours. Time management at work is something each person can improve upon, and one of the easiest ways to make better use of a person's time is to eliminate classic time wasters. Everyone has the same amount of time, 60 minutes per hour, 1,440 minutes per day, and 525,600 minutes per year. How we waste our time. Poor delegation skills, daydreaming, worrying.
How we waste time. Here to the left are some examples of how we waste time.
Time waste caused by others. Telephone interruptions, drop-in visitors, unscheduled meetings, poor communications, confused chain of authority. Inefficiencies. Can your company afford it? Statistics show the average worker loses at least 1 hour of productivity each day due to disorganization. How much are you contributing to the disorganization and inefficiency issues in the workplace? Do the math. 1 hour times one worker's hourly salary at $7.79, 5 days a week times $7.79 equals a total of $38.95 lost a week. 48 weeks times the $38.95 a week would equal $1,869.60 a year. If you multiply that by 20 employees, your total employer loss is $37,392 every year. Principles of time management. Set goals and establish priorities. Spot the time wasters. Live time management. Think quality, not quantity of time. Organize yourself for success. Prioritize, clear your desk, delegate work to others, stay healthy in body and mind, act purposefully and positively. Write a daily time schedule, time activity, priority. Mark each activity according to how important it is. A, extremely important. B, important. C, relatively important. Effectiveness, and then evaluate the complete time plan of the day. Work to suit your preferred lifestyle. Please click on the tabs above to learn more about time management. Time management. Maintain your own calendar. Keep one calendar for everything. Take your calendar with you wherever you go. Know your energy cycle. Plan every day. Don't plan every minute. Prioritize. Save peak energy periods for yourself. Schedule time for routine tasks. Schedule your rewards. Daily task lists. List everything you'd like to accomplish. Prioritize these tasks. Carry papers at all times. Make notes. Use full-size paper. Date notes. File and action file folders. Telephone and address directory. Carry it. Maintain one directory. Transfer business card information. Include email, fax, home address, and phone. Time is life. Do not waste it. Identify major thieves of time and eject them. Make a realistic list of things to do and act on it. Eliminate unnecessary activities. Memory aids such as diaries and tape recorders are useful. Analyze how your time is spent. Never take on more than is necessary. Learn to say no. Analyze yourself and operate within your strengths. Get on by being organized. Employ a program of physical and mental fitness. Manage backlog. Employ a schedule or planner to chart the way ahead. Never cease striving to become more efficient and effective. Treat each day as it is your last and maximize it.
Good afternoon, Linda.
Hi, Rick. I heard you wanted to talk to me. What's going on?
Well, I've been on the job for several weeks now. Everything is going great, but I've received my first evaluation. My boss told me I need improvement in one area, time management. I feel like I am making the best of my time, but apparently it's not enough. Can you give me some pointers?
Sure, Rick. Time management is critical to a person's long-term career success. Time management and performance go hand in hand and is something each person can improve upon. One of the easiest ways to improve is to eliminate classic time wasters. Everyone has the same amount of time, 60 minutes an hour, 1,440 minutes a day, and 525,600 minutes a year. Common time wasters are lack of discipline, indecisiveness, personal disorganization, procrastination, inability to say no, poor delegation skills, daydreaming, and worry.
Sometimes things happen that I cannot control. Then I have to stop what I'm doing and assist with other issues.
This happens to everyone. Common time wasters caused by others are telephone interruptions, drop-in visitors, unscheduled meetings, poor communication, and confused chain of authority. You are still in control of most of these time wasters. For example, politely explain to the unexpected visitor that you have a scheduled meeting to attend and you don't have much time to talk. This will do two things. First, Show them that your meetings are usually scheduled. And second, make the visit quick so you can get back to work.
I never thought about that. I thought it was important to handle these situations as they arise.
If it is highly important, then stop what you're doing and take care of it. But you must assess the situation to see if it warrants your immediate time. As long as you are polite when you are explaining that you must get back to work, your supervisor will appreciate your efforts to manage your time.
My boss said my lack of time management is causing me to be inefficient. What's that supposed to mean?
Statistics show the average worker loses about 1 hour each day due to disorganization. This causes you to lose efficiency in your work. Being inefficient means your time is not being spent on productivity. You need to ask yourself, how much are you contributing to the disorganization and inefficiency issues in the workplace? If you make $10 an hour, then your employer is losing $10 a day, $50 a week, and $2,400 a year due to poor time management. If your employer has 15 employees with poor time management, then he loses $36,000 a year for the company. This is a year's salary for one person. This is why your boss is addressing the issue with you.
What?
Here are a few tools you can use to manage your time wisely. First, statistics show the average worker loses about 1 hour each day due to disorganization. This causes you to lose efficiency in your work. Being inefficient means your time is not being spent on productivity. You need to ask yourself, how much are you contributing to the disorganization and inefficiency issues in the workplace? If you make $10 an hour, then your employer is losing $10 a day, $50 a week, and $2,400 a year due to poor time management. If your employer has 15 employees with poor time management, then he loses $36,000 a year for the company. This is a year's salary for one person. This is why your boss is addressing the issue with you. Here are a few tools you can use to manage your time wisely. First, set goals and establish priorities. Next, spot time wasters that I've mentioned to you. Think quality and not quantity of time. You can do a whole lot of meaningless things in one day and feel like you work very hard, but your boss will appreciate you more if you work on just 2 meaningful tasks all day.
This is why I feel like I didn't need to improve my time management. I'm always busy doing something and I never have downtime. Are there any other tools I can use?
Yes, you want to make sure you organize yourself. Make sure your desk is clean and you prioritize. You also need to keep a daily calendar and stick to it as much as possible. Plan every day. Write down tasks that need to be completed each day and prioritize these tasks. Take your calendar with you everywhere you go.
This is very helpful information, Linda. I just hope I can remember it all.
I try to remember it by spelling out time management. Each letter stands for something. T is for time, do not waste it. I is for identify thieves of your time and eliminate them. M is for make a realistic list of things to do. E is for eliminate unnecessary activities. M in management is for memory aids such as diaries and tape recorders. A is for analyze how time is spent. N is for learn to say no. A is for analyze yourself. G stands for get on by being organized. E stands for employ a program of physical and mental fitness. M stands for manage backlog. E stands for employ a schedule. N stands for never cease striving to become more efficient. And lastly, T is to treat each day as your last and maximize it. Tips for successful time management. Do things with concentration, dedication, and commitment, and not in a careless manner. Trust others and distribute work to others. Never think about unnecessary things and never interfere in others' matters. Postponement of planned events is an avoidable bad habit. Break down your goals into smaller tasks with manageable steps. Be punctual. Hurrying up isn't always the best way to do things faster. Don't forget or misplace things. Use a calendar. Get organized. Calling off sick. You wake up during the night and you don't feel quite right. Maybe your throat feels a little scratchy, or your stomach feels unsettled. You fall back to sleep, hoping whatever is ailing you goes away by morning so you can avoid calling in sick to work. You have a lot of work to do after all, and the office might just fall apart without you there. Brief absence. Most workplaces can survive an employee's brief absence. There's a good chance you already know that, but still you worry about calling in sick. Perhaps you're afraid you won't finish an important project, or your absence will reflect poorly on you. Even so, a sick employee generally isn't a productive one. What she or he is, though, is a contagious one, who will spread germs to his or her coworkers, who will in turn be faced with the dilemma of whether to call in sick tomorrow. The following illnesses and symptoms are some good reasons for calling in sick to work. Use common sense and good judgment when other problems arise. Stomach woes. You have diarrhea, or you are vomiting. It could be food poisoning, or it could be a stomach virus. The latter is very contagious, so why put your coworkers at risk? Flu. A sudden fever, chills, and achiness usually means you have the flu. This can run through a workplace like wildfire, taking down everyone in its path. You won't feel up to standing, never mind working, so stay home. Sore throat. This depends on whether your throat hurts a little bit or if you feel like you've been swallowing razor blades. A severe sore throat, especially if you also have a high fever and swollen glands, could mean strep throat, which is quite contagious. Go to the doctor for a throat culture and wait for the results before you return to work. If you have a positive result, he or she will prescribe an antibiotic and tell you when you can return to work, usually after 24 hours of taking the medication. Fever. A fever indicates that your body is trying to fight off an infection. The infection may or may not be contagious, so don't take a chance of sharing it with your coworkers. Besides, a fever usually makes you feel pretty miserable, and you won't be productive anyways. Calling off sick. Please click on the tabs provided for you on the left to learn more about calling off sick. Rash. Until you know the cause of a rash, avoid contact with other people. If you know the reason for the problem, the rash isn't contagious, and you're not too uncomfortable, you can probably go to work. Conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis is an eye infection or inflammation. Its symptoms can include eye redness or swelling, and may feel like you have sand in your eye. It can be extremely contagious, so you should not have contact with other people until you visited a doctor. If she determines that it is contagious, you will have to use antibiotic eye drops for 24 hours before you can return to work. Significant pain. Even if you know the cause of your pain isn't anything that will endanger your health, you should consider staying home from work. You will probably have trouble focusing on anything else but the pain. Common cold. Whether or not you should call in sick because you have a cold depends on its severity. If you are rapidly emptying boxes of tissues and coughing like crazy, you've got a pretty bad cold. You will have trouble concentrating and will likely spread germs to others. If your cold is not that severe and you must go to work, wash your hands frequently and keep your phone and computer germ-free by wiping them down with alcohol wipes if others use them. If your coworkers keep their distance, don't be offended. It may not be the garlic dill you had with lunch, but instead their fear of catching what you have. Contact your supervisor. If you have determined that you suffer from one of these illnesses or symptoms, you should immediately contact your supervisor to inform him or her that you will not be coming in today. Most employers have their own policies and procedures specifying what time frame they will accept when calling off sick. However, most policies encourage informing your employer ASAP with a minimum of 30 minutes advance notice.
George, I am so worried that my lack of attendance will put my job in jeopardy. I've been very sick lately, but I really need my job. What am I supposed to do?
Don't worry, Katie. That will only make you sicker due to stress. Just make sure you are following proper procedure for calling in sick and worry about getting well. Just keep in mind that your employer will appreciate the fact that you did not bring germs into the workplace. Besides, you will probably not be very productive anyway. Your absence will not reflect poorly on you.
How do I know when I'm supposed to call out sick or not?
Here are a few common illnesses that are contagious. You should definitely stay home if you have any of these symptoms. Stomach woes. If you have diarrhea or vomiting, it could be stomach virus or food poisoning. The stomach virus is very contagious, so you want to stay home until you find out exactly what the diagnosis is. If you have any symptoms of the flu, fever, chills or achiness, you need to stay home until you get diagnosed.
What if I just have a sore throat?
If you have a slight sore throat, go to work but schedule a doctor appointment to see what's going on. If you have a severe sore throat accompanied by a fever, call in sick and see a doctor. If you have a fever or rash, stay home and visit a doctor. Pink eye is also extremely contagious, so if you have red, itchy eyes, you should call in sick and see a doctor.
What about things that may not be contagious, such as common cold or severe pain?
If you have severe pain, you probably won't be able to focus on much at work anyway, so you should probably call in sick. If you have a common cold that is not too severe, you should be fine going to work, but if it is severe, you shouldn't go. Just warn your coworkers so they have the option to stay away from you if they are concerned.
What happens if I wake up with symptoms and I'm due to work in an hour?
You should call your employer as soon as you feel symptoms. Refer to your Employee Handbook for actual time frames for calling in sick.
Calling in late. Be extremely productive as soon as you arrive at the office. Completing a task you weren't assigned can remind your boss that you are a valuable employee, even if punctuality isn't your strong suit. Work late to make up for your late arrival. Click each sticky note to learn more. Big no-no. Count how many times you've already called in late this year. If it's more than 2, simply explaining I'm running behind this morning probably will not fly, especially if your boss is rarely or never late. And if you work in an office where being tardy is a big no-no. Excuses. Create an excuse if you're chronically late. A doctor's appointment you forgot to mention the other day, a forgotten school play, a flat tire, or other minor car trouble or a traffic jam are all good excuses. Work through lunch. Promise to work through lunch and/or stay late in the same breath that you mention that you will be late. Calling in late. Whether you overslept or you just didn't budget enough time to get out of the house on time, calling in late for work is one of those life skills you need, especially if it happens on a regular basis. Here's how to let your boss know not to expect you bright and early without ending up with a pink slip. Tip. If lateness is your boss's pet peeve, call in sick instead. It requires using up sick leave, but it is less likely to trigger your boss in a climate of frequent layoffs. Develop your story. Develop a backstory for your excuse in case your boss questions you about it. Have the name of the doctor and a diagnosis on hand if you use the doctor's appointment as your reason for being late. Or, if it was a school play, be prepared with both the name of the program and your child's role. Relate a funny story about the mechanic who repaired your car.
Thanks, George. But what if I only need to call in late?
Whether you overslept or just didn't budget enough time to get to work, make sure you call your boss. If one of your boss's pet peeves is calling in late, use up a sick day and call in sick instead. This is less likely to trigger your boss during times of layoff.
What if my boss was okay the last time I called in late, but may not be now?
Count how many times you called in late this year. If more than 2, it will probably not go over very well. Create a different excuse. Some common uncontrollable excuses might work better, such as traffic jam, flat tire, or other minor car troubles.
What can I do to show I'm really sorry?
You can start by apologizing. You can also work through lunch, stay late, and be extremely productive as soon as you get to work.
Please click on the dividers above to learn more about requesting time off. Births, deaths, illnesses, subpoenas, and jury duty are examples of the kind of events that might require you to request time off from work. Requesting a leave of absence can induce feelings of guilt. You might worry about job security and also about whether or not the request will be honored. Making a strong case for your need for time off can alleviate some of these concerns and increase the likelihood that you'll get what you're asking for. Check your employer's policy. Check your employer's policy regarding leave of absence. There may be an outline in the company handbook. Your company's human resources department may be able to help as well. There may be even a form to fill out and include with your letter. Business letter. Start a business letter with the date, a space, then the full name, title, company, and address of the individual you are addressing. In some cases, the name will not be known, so leave it blank. Reason for requested time. Open the letter with your reasons for writing the letter. Describe the event that is causing you to request time off. Requesting time off. Discuss specifics of your time off. Say what you will be doing during your time off and how long you plan to be gone. Discuss the work that you have performed for the company and assure the letter recipient that you will leave no loose ends during your time away. Offer to telecommute if this is possible and realistic. Even though you want to assure your employer that there will be no problems while you are gone, don't make it look as though you're not needed on the job, or you might find yourself without a job. In your closing paragraph, leave contact information so your employer can reach you. Include an email address, phone number, and home address. In some cases, it is appropriate to write this information at the very top or very bottom of the letter. Finish with a thank you, a salutation, and skip several lines before typing your name. Once the letter is printed, place your signature in the blank space between the salutation and your printed name.
Thank you for discussing calling in late or sick, but what do I do if I need to request time off?
Requesting time off can induce feelings of guilt. Make a strong case for your need to request time off. This will alleviate feelings of guilt or job security.
What is the process for requesting time off?
Start with looking over the employer's policy for requesting a leave of absence. Make sure you understand every step. Then put your request in writing in the form of a formal letter. Discuss the specific times you need off and what you will be doing. Discuss the work you have performed for the company and assure that you will leave no loose ends before you leave. Offer to telecommute if possible. Don't make it look as though you are not needed. In your closing paragraph, leave all contact information so your employer can reach you. Finish with a thank you and make an extra copy for yourself.
Simple enough. Thanks, Jonas.
You're welcome.
Now you've learned what to expect on the first day, days on the job, and how to develop good job habits, as well as managing time. Along with these skills, you have learned how to call off sick, call in late, and how to request time off.